to the Evening Review. This is a brand new daily show here at Namibian Sun, touching on current affairs as well as news that might have happened during the course of the day. We are doing our premiere tonight on all our platforms. My name is Tewan Jabela and I'm your anchor for tonight. Welcome back to the Evening Review. I'm now joined on the couch by my colleague Ashley Smith, who is our news editor here at Namibian Sun. We'll just discuss a few items. Ashley, welcome to the show.
And good evening to you, Toivo. It's been a busy day.
It's been a busy day. It's been a very news-rich day, if one may call it that way.
Yeah, there's a lot been happening, lots of irons in the fire.
Indeed. So
we want to bring the readers a very good edition tomorrow.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Maybe before we go to tomorrow's edition, Ashley, let's talk about just today's edition a little bit. We know that there's been this topical issue of coronavirus. It's on everybody's lips. And here in Namibia, we are reporting today that government has essentially come out and said, look, we don't have the equipment to report, to test and produce results in our laboratories as far as this virus is concerned. What do you make of that? I mean, for me, the transparency is very, very important, that government is not hiding anything. They come out and say, look, we are sending samples to South Africa. But from a technical and efficiency point of view, what do you make of that?
Look, as we discussed this morning in our news meeting, we've obviously perennially had this issue of forensic testing, etc., where we also send some of our criminal things to Canada, for example, and South Africa, where they get tested there.
Yes.
But a major issue for me would be because of our kind of close relationship with China, and this not being the first coronavirus. It's a new strain.
Yes.
I would have expected that we would have testing facilities here.
Indeed. I was speaking to our colleague Frank Stefan on the sidelines yesterday, and he made a point that I thought was also valid, to say that there are so many diseases in the world, and to have laboratory equipment for every disease in the world is almost impractical for a country as small as ours. Is that also a fair point to make?
I was just going to say it is a fair point to make, but I will kind of go back to the fact that we've over the years have established very close ties with China. We also know that, for example, with the upgrading of the port at Walvis Bay, there's thousands of Chinese workers, that come in and out of the country. We also had a lot of, as the ambassador said last week, at the end of the week, when they announced that Chinese travel agencies won't be sending any more tour groups to Namibia for the foreseeable future. That at the end of the day, we have a Chinatown, for example, which I also visited on Saturday. There, for example, Toivo, the kind of reality of the disease kind of struck me, because there were certain Chinese shop owners also wearing masks. So, it's a fair point to make that we can't have the laboratory testing equipment for every single disease. But I think in terms of Chinese diseases, SARS, coronavirus, I would have suspected, or I would have hoped that we had that facilities or that testing equipment with us.
Exactly. And Ashley, also let's talk about the proximity of this whole scenario. Is it an event happening too far away from us, or do we have genuine reason to be concerned when we are on this side of the world? On Sunday, for example, the first death outside China was confirmed.
That's right.
Of a Chinese man who died in the Philippines. But in terms of where we are geographically, do we have reason to be concerned still?
Look, in terms of health, I think that the world has reason to be concerned. We were talking also this morning a little bit about the kind of kill rate of this disease.
Yes.
It's 2%, doesn't sound a lot. Pneumonia even, has a worse kill rate than this at the moment. but it's all about stopping the spread of this disease, and I think that's why China has taken sort of preemptive and very proactive steps in terms of stopping traveling, etc. A lot of other countries have also kind of banned Chinese tourists from entering. Yeah, so like I said earlier as well, in terms of our relationship with China, yes, with the East Coast, there is cause for concern for Namibia. But in the same breath, you know, it's also kind of this kind of anti-Chinese sentiment has also been rearing its ugly head.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen international headlines. For example, in France, around there was one headline that kind of stood out for me, which was yellow alert.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so we're taking it back to the Second World War kind of yellow threat kind of thing.
Yeah.
A lot of countries or restaurants banning, you know, Chinese patrons, for example, that I suppose have been in their countries for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we must also guard against that that
Exactly.
kind of sentiment from festering here in Namibia. And then, of course, just another point I want to make around the threat to the Chinese economy. We know China's been a perennial kind of funder for a lot of our projects. A lot of people see that as a good thing or a bad thing. That's not here or there. But at the end of the day, China does play an active role in our economy. And today, for example, I just proofread a page in Market Watch which said that the imports have dropped, oil imports have dropped by 3 million barrels per day in China. So you can imagine that kind of knock-on effect on the world's economy when the second biggest economy is facing a threat like the coronavirus.
Definitely. Now, this morning, we spoke to the Executive Director in the Ministry of Health, Ben Nangombe, who spoke to our colleague Elani Smith about the latest developments regarding this situation, particularly a Namibian woman who is quarantined at the coast on suspicion that she might have caught this virus. This is their conversation.
Hello.
Mr. Nangombe, sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Like I said, can we just have a quick update with regard to the suspected case of coronavirus in Namibia?
Yeah, thank you very much for calling. Again, the position is this, and the facts are that we have a Namibian citizen who had traveled to Australia.
Yes.
She came back to Namibia via Hosea Kutako International Airport, stayed in Windhoek for a couple of days and traveled to Swakopmund. On the 31st, she reported to the hospital with a cough and a running nose.
Yes.
And because of the international advisory that is there about the coronavirus, the attending physician decided to isolate the patient.
Yes.
It must be noted that this patient or this person did not travel to China, where the disease is coming from. But out of abundance of caution, we decided that, or the attending physician decided that
yes.
the person has been under observation since then. I am told that she is stable. In fact, the cough has subsided, and the nurses that were attending to this particular patient are also in good spirits. So the message is that we don't have a confirmed coronavirus case in Namibia. What there is a suspected case, and that was occasioned by the fact that this person had a history of international travel. They have not been to China, and as we speak, the patient is stable, the parameters are good, the coughing has stopped, and we are continuing to monitor the patient while we wait for the results of the case, of the test.
And the treatment that she is receiving currently?
No, the treatment that she's receiving, that is a decision of the clinicians at hospital level. And it's according to the standard treatment guidelines for ailments as we have them.
Okay. Is there any possibility that Namibia will be introducing travel restrictions to people that have been to China?
No, I am not in a position to comment on that matter.
Okay, all right.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you very much,
you.
sir. Okay.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
That was our colleague Elani Smith speaking to the Executive Director in the Ministry of Health, Ben Nangombe, just giving us an update on the Namibian woman who is currently quarantined at Swakopmund. Actually, let's move into the second topic of the day, of the evening, and that is really the dismissal this morning of the application by the former Education Minister, Katrina Hanse-Himarwa, to basically get permission to appeal her conviction, her corruption conviction. What was your immediate feeling in light of that ruling today?
Well, look, as we once again talked before we came, to share with the viewers, she does have recourse to the Supreme Court still. That avenue, I think that door is still open to her. But my immediate reaction would have been around the fact that Judge Christy Liebenberg basically said to her, "Look, you haven't impressed me with your grounds or your arguments around the fact that there is a prospect that another court will find differently in your case."
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something she has to consider.
Yes.
Very carefully. Also, she made a big song and dance about lawyer fees. Remember when she was sentenced last year?
Yes.
She even introduced a bill from her attorney, Sisana Manji, and said, "Look, I don't have money. I've already been punished through legal fees." So if that is a consideration for her as well, she'll have to weigh up her options very carefully in the Supreme Court.
Indeed, and what also stood out for me was the fact that because there was a second point, which was a technical point, and that was that she filed her appeal outside the period within which she was the law allows you to do that.
That's correct.
So you wonder now whether the Supreme Court will also condone that. Look, you can go ahead with that.
Yeah, look, if you do file out of beyond the kind of time period, you have to obviously file a condemnation request, and I think that wasn't accepted for the reasons given in the condemnation request was not accepted by Judge Liebenberg today.
Yeah.
But Toivo, also, there's a political angle to this story, and maybe it's unsurprising that she would be fighting in that way to clear a name, so to speak.
Yeah.
We know the new parliament is going to be formed soon. I'm sure she also probably still has political aspirations, and it will be very difficult, for example, to be accommodated in the president's 8 nominees for the National Assembly. Yeah. So it's that aspect as well, which is obviously driving her.
Yeah.
So we'll have to keenly see what she does next.
Exactly, because I mean there's a precedence that has been set in recent months. I think in November, December, there when SWAPO actually recalled Bernard Esau and Saki Shangala from the current parliament and scrapped their name from the list of the upcoming parliament. So you have to be somehow, they say, this movement, this wave of cleanliness that is required for you to make parliament. But to cut the long story short, our colleague Ohonet Klache was at a court today, and he briefly caught on camera brief remarks by the ex-minister when she left court.
I would like to ask you, will you be petitioning
You are asking me questions, so you go and twist it your way.
Will you be asking the Supreme Court for you to appeal?
Katrina, come. Still trying to twist it. Just come. Go and wait on me. You will still hear.
One of the highlights for tonight's show is the interview I did with the current mayor of Windhoek, Fransina Kahungu, who will give us a bit of sense into her tenure as mayor of Windhoek and the way forward for the city.
Enjoy extra flexibility with Extra View from DSTV. It lets you pop a TV up here, another over here, and one more up here. And great news, Namibia! You can now link up to 3 Extra View capable decoders and have the whole family enjoy their favorite shows in 3 different rooms at the same time, all under a single subscription. To find out more, visit dstv.com and enjoy extra viewing freedom for everyone.
Welcome back. I am now joined in the studio, like I said earlier, by the relatively new mayor of our city, City of Windhoek, Her Worship Fransina Kahungu. Thank you very much, Mayor, for agreeing to be our very first guest on our show. It shows the motherly love that we are going to see for the next couple of years as mayor of the city. But thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. I'm honored by the opportunity.
Thank you, Mother. So let's talk about your job as mayor. You've been elected as mayor since only the mid-December. Of course, you've been deputy mayor before that, but so you are quite familiar with the role. But how has it been, just a month and a half that you've been in the job?
Thank you very much for the question. This 1 month and a half days, some half days, has been a very busy period for me.
Yes.
A busy period for me in the sense that it was more of engaging various stakeholders, not me inviting them, but they have been coming to my office. So in short, it has been a very busy time, a really kind of foundation.
But having been deputy mayor prior to your elevation to mayor, were there any surprises as far as the weight of being actual mayor is concerned, or is it something that you find to be similar to what you had known all along?
Of course, yes. When you are a deputy, you are deputizing.
Yes.
You are not the real owner of that position. So here, it's like I become the councillor for the first time.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference because now you are the principal head of the institution, which is Windhoek Municipality, and you are tasked by the Local Authority Act of 1992 to carry out activities. So being a chairperson of council, you have to chair, and not only chair, but you have to monitor and assess all things which are going on for you definitely to know if you are providing according to the Local Authority Act.
I saw last week, Thursday, you opened council. There was a council meeting, and one of the points that you made was, of course, you made a lot of good points, but one that stood out for me, and particularly for the purpose of this conversation, is where you said that basically calling on the city residents to stop this land grabbing. Now, many people would say that the mere word of mouth is not enough. Because it's good to say that to the people, but they need something to be done practically for them to stop those kind of acts. So what is it that you intend to do within that short period of time as mayor? Because we know again that you only have until probably end of the year. Then there are elections. You never know whether you'll be re-elected and whatnot. But in the short span of time that you're going to be in charge, what do you intend to do in that regard?
Thank you very much. The time itself, the time does not really have a problem. As long as you do something, you need to start. For now, I have been looking at the way how we can cooperate. Now I'm referring to the executive and administration people. So you mentioned land. There is a lot which is expected from us.
Yes.
First of all is to register all head of households in informal settlements. And this we need to do now.
Yes.
You want to ask, if you didn't do that time, how on earth will you be able to do it now? Yes, I am planning to consult our line ministry, Ministry of Urban and Rural Development, whereby for sure the minister to take it up further, because we need assistance of various people. I'm referring now to human resources here. Money is not really an issue.
Yeah.
What we need to do is to go out in the field. And I have to inform you that we are consulting the National Statistic Agency so that they can help us at least with registration.
Yeah.
If we just register, then we can do what I call, and not what I call, it is pre-allocation. First, what we want to do is to acknowledge people who reside already in those areas. I'm referring now to the illegal ones, because they form majority of occupants in the north and northwestern suburb of Windhoek. So we have to start with registration, and thereafter pre-allocating lands to the settlers. But before pre-allocation, we have to acknowledge. So by registration, we register and we give letters to those who occupy land already. Take note, I'm referring to mostly those who occupied land and procedural.
That's actually I must say, a very good idea. It has worked elsewhere in the world, where once you realize that there's nothing much you can do anymore to move people, you recognize, like you said, the reality there on the ground, and just start helping people. But you also then need to provide services to these people. We have an issue of hepatitis E that is refusing to go away, and as you and I know, it's linked to unhygienic conditions. How do you intend then to say, yes, stay here, your environment is not very conducive in terms of hygiene and in terms of services, because I suppose the municipal services are also not in some of those areas. So how do you then make sure that they stay there and you deliver services to them, your water and electricity kind of services?
Thank you very much. The moment you work together with the people, you will now be able to indicate to them where the services line will pass by.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyone whom you will find on the way of the service, you will allow that person to be relocated to a certain place, meaning we must make provision of where to relocate some residents to. So you said that those services are not really there. I have to inform you that like communal toilets and communal water taps, they are there. The problem is, from my experience these days, is that we have so many of them, especially toilets, broken. And that one, from the information from my officials, it was caused to stay like that mainly because of the procurement process which we are having at City of Windhoek. It's not really that much friendly to our clients.
Now, Mayor, you are speaking like someone who's really in tune with what the situation is on the ground. And recently you have, as a matter of fact, after you were elected as mayor, you relocated your office to Babylon, which is in the heart of the informal settlements in Windhoek. Now, two schools of thoughts have emerged from your relocation of office. Some have said this is a revolutionary, well-meant step for the mayor to really feel on a daily basis the kind of situation that her people are going through, and therefore to have an idea how to assist them. And then you have another school of thought that says it's an election year, the mayor is buying votes indirectly by simply, it's an election gimmick. Which one is the correct school of thought between the two?
Toivo, dear listeners, as I am sitting here, I do not even have time to think about myself anymore. If I have to think of elections, maybe it's just to say political parties to realize that they are sending representatives who qualify to work at local authorities. The only and main reason why I have moved my work, and take note, I left the office there. I moved my work to Babylon so this can influence me on a daily basis. And not only that, all along I have been thinking about us in Windhoek to change the political landscape. Let me give you one example.
Yeah.
Make it a point. I don't know where you are staying, but I want to guess you are staying this side of town.
I live in the slums.
Go to Babylon
Yeah.
around, don't go at 7.
Yeah.
Go from 6:30, between 6:30 and 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
You will be not only shocked to see how many cars, how many people are moving from that side to this side of town.
Yes.
It shows that economic activities are not taking place at the north and northwestern suburbs
Yeah.
of Windhoek. It indicates that there are no many even government agencies which took the services there. And how do you know that? You know by the number of people taking buses, or be it public or private transport, to come to this side of town. It is an indication that we need to balance the services.
Yes.
We need to balance the development
Yes.
of Windhoek. How on earth you have almost 100% of residents of northwestern suburbs coming to work at the east and southwestern part of Windhoek, leaving that place by this time is deserted because many people came here. Why don't we give them opportunities to work so that they uplift those areas? So my reason going that side is just to balance the mayoral services to Windhoek residents. Please take note that Deputy Mayor of Windhoek Municipality, Councillor Ian Subasubani, is the one stationed at Town Hall here, Town Hall here, where we have, how do you call it, the CBD. He is there. So we just distribute the work equally.
Okay, that's a very nice one. Now, 2 last questions. The first one, Her Worship, is you are on council representing, not representing, but you are serving on council on the SWAPO ticket. That is your political party.
Yes.
Your political party, admittedly, it's on record, the president is saying it, everybody in the leadership of the party is saying it. The party is divided. How difficult is it to serve on a ticket of a party that is so divided? Factions. Each faction has its own expectation of what you must do at the siege of Windhoek. Would unity in SWAPO make your job slightly better?
When you are saying, first, the party is divided,
Yes.
that from me, I do not know about it.
Okay.
It's good you refer to those who acknowledged it.
Yes.
To be honest with you, I maybe do not give time for hearing many other things. Because like now, I just do not have time for stories. I
Yes.
only have time for work.
Yes.
So far, there is no single instance which has shown to me that there is no unity. I am thankful to all honorable councillors, regardless of what political parties they belong to. And more specifically, the support I get from all 11 SWAPO party councillors, it's amazing. I am thankful. So on not having unity,
Yeah.
I cannot say much about it because I do not know from my work about this unity.
Okay. But in theory, Mayor, do you agree that a united SWAPO makes your work much you
I will not even say that because I have never experienced a disunited SWAPO. So you only respond to something which you experience.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The last question, Mayor, is there's been a lot of interest expressed in your position by different other people. Joba Mpanda, the leader of the affirmative repositioning movement, has publicly declared the interest in becoming mayor. Of course, by law, he cannot be directly voted as mayor. But also, what makes this even more interesting is the fact that he is also a SWAPO member like yourself. We have seen 2 SWAPO candidates competing in the November elections, one official candidate and one that is not endorsed by the party per se. But how how uncomfortable are you by knowing that there's a younger person, very loved by many young people in the city, eyeing the position that you currently hold?
Thank you very much. There's nothing wrong for a person to be ambitious.
Yeah.
It's always good.
Yeah.
By the way, you must always aim high.
Yes.
If a SWAPO party member is aiming to become a mayor of Windhoek municipality,
Yeah.
that's very good.
Yeah.
It's just to be ambitious.
Yes.
Nobody said that Comrade Jom Apanda is going to get it.
Yes.
And nobody said that he's not going to get it.
Yeah.
So, but it's very good.
Yes.
If we can only, as Job Ampanda is aiming to become a mayor, let's also aim just to provide services to the people. Each and every representative where you are, just aim to do good to the people.
Yes.
Of course, he wants to become a mayor because he sees things which he wants to improve.
Yes.
For sure, he just wants to provide services. All of us, let us be ambitious
Yes.
to be in positions so that we provide services to the people.
Thank you very much, Mayor. That was quite a conversation we had. We hope to invite you again on the show sometime in the future when we have some issues where we seek your input and wisdom. But thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. As I said earlier, I'm really humbled if I'm among the first
You are the first.
to come here. So let us work together. Let us work together for the benefit of all. It does not help us in any way if we are in positions for the sake of just sitting on chairs, but we don't provide service. In this regard, I ask cooperation of all of us so that we uplift one another. Listeners, thank you very much for listening to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This marks the end of today's edition of the Evening Review. We will see you tomorrow again.